Today we are going to build user registration using Angular 9. But before we start, remember to subscribe our channel and turn on the notification. You can do it using the red button below this video, and remember to give us thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Hello everyone and welcome in the next episode. Today we are starting lesson 4 of our Angular 9 course. And today we are going to do something really cool. We are going to build user registration. We will start by creating a template of our registration form with a few fields, and then we are going to build the logic for it. Of course, we will use the backend, which is done by my friend in the Golang course. If you would like to try it, I'll leave you the link just here. And also you can follow our Node.js course to build another backend for the same application. Okay, are you ready to start? Let's go! Okay, so let's start from running our backend and our frontend from the third lesson. And let's use ngserve for that. And when it's ready, we can create a new component. We will call it register, and for that I'll use Angular CLI. So ng generate component register. Okay, and we should have a new component in our application, so we can open the code and check if there is everything correct. Okay, our component is here, so everything's fine. And now we can visit Tailwind CSS to check out which form we are going to use. So we'll probably use the same form that we did in our login. So let's copy the code. And let's go to our register component.html file. And let's start from creating a register container div. Okay, let's paste it inside. Now we will need to add some changes because we want it to look really similar to our login component. So let's copy a few classes. And logo. And this small text with copyright on the bottom. Now let's change it. Okay. And now we can get ready to create another fields which we will need in our registration form, because we will need a little bit more of them. And let me just change the margin bottom because I want it to be the same for all the inputs. And the first input is username, so let's leave it. The second one is email. So let's change a few names here, like ID and type, and the placeholder as well. Okay, another field we need is password, so that's cool. And the fourth field we need is confirm password, just to make sure that the password is the one that user selected. So we'll change those names here as well. And let's delete these error messages, we don't need it. And also this red border, we don't need it as well. And let's cut this one, and we are going to build another div here because we want to change it a little bit and make it this kind of link where We can ask user if he already has account, so he can just switch to login form. And we will do the same in the login form, but then we will ask if they would like to create a new account. And we will redirect them to the registration form. So let's add here P, the paragraph. Some text like already have an account. And here let's add this piece of code that we took a while ago, and let's change it to sign in. Cool. And now let's go to our register component.css file and let's create some styling. It will be really similar to the login form. Also, we are going to style here the logo and the notification, which we don't have yet. Okay, when styling is ready, we can go to the next step. And it's setting the route for our new component. So let's go to app routing module TS and let's import our register component here. After import is done, we can create the new path. We will add here register and our register component. Cool, so now we can use a link which will redirect us to our register component. So let's go back to our register component.html file, and inside our sign in link, let's use router link and let's pass the link to the login. And copy this piece of code. We will go to login component HTML and we will change this forgot password to a similar element like in our register form, but here redirecting to the registration. So sign up and to router link, let's add register. Okay, let's save and we can check out if it works. So here's our login form. Oh, we need a little bit of margin there, but switching works. So let's add some margin. I would make it MT4 and MT4 as well. And let's check it again. Yeah, now it looks really nice and it works really nice. So we created the registration template. So now we can go and create some logic. Okay. So let's open register.component.ts and we are going to define 4 values: username, email, password, and confirm password. Let's assign empty strings to each of them. And now we are going to create the function that will handle our inputs. So it will be really similar to the function we used in the login. We will call it onKey, so similar, and we will pass event and type to that function. And according to the type, we will assign the value to the different variable. And as we complete this, we can go back to our HTML template for the registration form, and we can add this function to each of the input. So let's start from username. Yeah, here in the input, let's pass key up and the function onKey. To the function we are going to pass the event, and the type will be username here. We can copy it because it will be totally similar, and we can paste it to the other inputs, just changing the type. So here will be email, then password, and finally confirm password. Okay, let's save. And what we need now? So now we need to validate our inputs. I don't know if you remember, but some time ago my friend published a video about SQL injection, where he showed us that it's really important to take care about what we are sending to our API. So that's why we are going to create a validation function which will check if the values passed by user are correct. So let's define the object with three properties: username, password, and email. And each of these properties will be set to true. Our object will be called valid. And when it's ready, we can create the function called validate and pass the type as a parameter. And inside this function, I'm going to set two patterns. One for the username, and we would like username to consist only from letters and numbers, and that's it. No special characters. And the other pattern will be the email pattern, so we need to take care that there is an @ and it looks like each email address. So the first part @ the domain and dot and end of domain. Okay, and now we can start from creating the if-else statement. And let's start from the username. So our username can't be shorter than 5 characters. So at first let's check if the length is correct. And if it's not correct, then we will set our validation for username to false. And if that's correct, Then we will set our validation to the result of testing the pattern. This test method will return true or false, so if the length is okay, then it all depends from the characters that are inside our input. Okay, now let's go to the type email, and here we will just assign this valid email to the result of testing, so similar. But here we will use the email pattern. And the last one will be the password. But we will do this testing on both, on confirm password and on password. So both types will be tested through this if. And now we need to check if password and confirm password are the same, because that's the main purpose of the confirm password. And if they are not the same, that we will return false, and if they are the same, then nothing will change, so it will be true. Okay, and now we need to call our validation function, and we will do it inside the onKey function, just once, passing the type as the parameter. Okay, that's cool. To the final result, we need one more thing. We need to display the message which will tell user what is wrong with his input. That would be really not user-friendly to leave it just like that. So let's go to our register component.html, and we are going to create a few paragraphs which will be displayed conditionally. So let's use ngIf, and if our valid username is false, then it will be shown. Let's add some classes to make it like this red error message. And let me copy paste the information here. It's a little bit long, but we want to tell the user that username can consist only from letters and characters, and it can't be shorter than 5 characters. Okay, let's copy this and let's change in the email to valid email. And here the message should be something like your email is not correct, or it's not formatted correctly. And we will leave the password, but in the confirm password, we will place the message that the passwords are different. Of course, remember to change the ngIf value. Okay, great, we can test it. Okay, you can see when we have like special characters, or if the length is not correct, then we see the message on username. Now we have 5 characters and letters and numbers, and it's fine. Okay, email is fine, but if we'll delete this, then it won't be fine. Cool, and now let's try with password. You see the second one is empty, so it shows that it's not the same. Okay, so it works pretty good. Now we will need some refactoring. Our application is growing, and what's going to happen now is that I would like to change our login service to the user service. So we will put there everything, every function that is done on the user. So I would like to change the name of our login service to the user service. I'll do it manually, like you can currently see on the screen. If you have anything in your code editor which can help you, then feel free to use it. And if not, just follow me to do it manually, or just leave it as a login if you prefer. For me, it's just more clear to understand if this is user service, so I can use it everywhere with login, registration, and different changes on the user. I really like to using this find and change, so I can change everything and just small changes left, like this small letter here. And the other thing we are going to change and refactor is our proxy configuration. Now we have a little bit more than one API endpoint, and this is exactly why we need those changes. So let's open our proxyconf.json file, and let's change this to login to API. Then it will be clearer. And we need to add two values. Change origin to true. Okay, and after these changes we need to rerun our frontend. So let's go back and let's stop it and let's do ngserve again. And you can see that proxy rewrite rule was created, so it's fine. And when it's ready, we can go to our user service right now and start creating the registration function. Just before this thing, we will just change the URL here, because now it's going to be API, not the login. And we need to make a small change inside this login, because we will pass here the end of our URL. So we want this URL to be variable, and then we want to add this login. And here we just need to finish this API. Okay. And now we are going to create a register function, which will be really similar to our login function, but we'll be calling different API endpoint. So let's start. Register, we need to pass username, which will be string, email as a string, and password as a string. So let's use our HTTP post method. Let's use our URL, but with different finishing right here with register. Then let's pass our values and HTTP options at the end. And then let's use promise and let's get the response. And inside this response, we will do it really similar like in the login function. So we will save the JVT token in the session storage, we will pass our error subject to null, and we will save user data so we can subscribe to it. Okay, cool. When it's ready, we can go back to our register.component.ts file and we can implement a register function there. Let's start by importing user service and let's pass it to our constructor. Okay, when it's done, let's go to the bottom of this file and let's start creating our register function. So I'll call mine onRegister, and before we will call the API, let's check once again if our values are valid. So if this valid username and this valid email and this valid password, then we can go and make our API call. So this user service register. And let's pass the values. Great. And also let's listen for the error in case there will be any, so we can display it. Similar like with the login form. So let's listen to the error subject and let's subscribe to the error message. We need this error to assign, so we need to create error value. Here, I'll edit null, cool, and it's almost ready. The last thing that we need to do is to assign our onRegister function to the registration button and to add the notification in our registration template. So let's start by adding the function to the button. So click on register. And the last thing will be this notification. We can copy it from the login template because it's the same and we've already styled that. So let's just take it. It will be shown in case error exists. So we have this ng if there. And seems like that's it. Let's check our application right now and let's test it. Let's try to create a new account and register the new user. Later we will try to log in with that new user to see if we didn't break anything and if our user really exists. Remember about having your backend running. So I'll pass some values. You can see that validation works. Pretty nice. Okay, so our user is created. It doesn't have money on his account. It's called test user. Cool. Now let's check if we can log in using this user. Yes, the same user. Thanks for watching and congratulations! Congratulations! We've just finished creating user registration. In the next lessons we are going to create more exciting features, so stay with us and to not miss any of this video, because it's very important for you, remember to subscribe our channel with the red button below this video. The button should look like this one. And remember to turn on the notifications. Also, if you like the video, give us thumbs up and leave us a comment. And if you would like to support us, share this video on your social media. I hope to see you all in the next video. Oh, and remember that if you didn't mention to get the code correctly, you can check out our GitHub. I'll leave you the link in the description. Bye!